Welcome back to Whispers After Midnight. Tonight, we have 3 chilling stories about people who took delivery jobs on the dark web for quick money, only to realize too late what they were really delivering. Strange packages, mysterious drop-offs, and jobs that should have never been accepted. Once you're in, it's not always easy to get out. Turn the lights down, and let's get into 3 terrifying dark web delivery stories. I answered a dark web posting, part 1. I still remember the night I found the post. It was October 2002. I was 17, broke, and desperate for money. My mom had just lost her second job that year. The power bill was 2 weeks overdue, and the only thing in our fridge was half a jug of milk and a bottle of ketchup. I spent most nights on our old Dell computer in the basement. The dial-up internet screamed every time it connected, and the monitor flickered like it might die at any second. That night I was scrolling through Reddit. Back then it wasn't huge like it is now. It felt more like a weird underground forum where people posted strange things. Tech stuff, conspiracy theories, creepy stories. Things you didn't really see anywhere else. I was browsing a thread called Odd Jobs/Cash Gigs. Most posts were junk. Need help moving a couch? $20 to shovel my driveway. Looking for someone to test a website. Then I saw one that didn't look like the others. The title was simple. Night work, cash paid immediately. No username, just deleted. I clicked it. The post was only 3 sentences long. Need someone reliable. Work must be done tonight. $1,000 cash. Below that was an email address. No explanation of the job, no location, nothing, just the email. I stared at the screen for a long time. $1,000 might as well have been $1 million to me back then. It would fix everything. The power bill, groceries, maybe even a little left over. Still, something about it felt off. The account that posted it had no history, no comments, nothing. I scrolled through the replies. Most people were joking. Sounds like a murder job, LOL. Kidney harvesting business booming again. But one comment caught my attention. I did one of these last year. Legit work. Weird though. The user who posted that comment had deleted their account minutes later. That should have been my warning. Instead, I opened my email. My hands were shaking a little as I typed. Subject, night work, I'm interested. I hesitated for a second, then hit send. The reply came less than a minute later. That was the first thing that made my stomach tighten. Nobody replies that fast. The email was short. Meet tonight, 11:30 p.m. Old Greyhound bus station. Come alone. Bring a flashlight. Cash paid after task completion. Below the message was a single attachment, a photo. I downloaded it. It was a picture of a storage locker door, the kind you'd find in those outdoor storage unit places. Spray painted on the metal was a number, 314. That was it, no explanation. Just the locker number. And another line at the bottom of the email. Do not tell anyone about this job. I leaned back in my chair and stared at the screen. My brain kept flipping between 2 thoughts. This is sketchy as hell. And that's $1,000. Upstairs, I heard my mom coughing in the kitchen. The house felt cold. We couldn't afford to turn the heat up much. I looked back at the email, then at the picture. Locker 314. I told myself it was probably something simple. Move a box, pick something up, drop something off. People paid cash for weird favors all the time, right? I grabbed my jacket, my flashlight, and wrote a quick note for my mom saying I was out with friends. The bus station was about a 20-minute walk from our house. By the time I got there, the streets were empty. The Greyhound station had shut down years earlier. Now it was just a dark building with broken windows and faded signs. The parking lot lights barely worked. One flickered above the entrance. The place looked abandoned. I checked my watch. 11:27 p.m., 3 minutes early. The wind pushed trash across the pavement as I walked toward the building. For a second, I almost turned around. Then I remembered the number, $1,000. I stepped inside. The waiting area smelled like mold and old cigarettes. Rows of cracked plastic seats lined the room, and sitting in the middle of them was a man. He was already watching me. I hadn't heard him come in. He wore a long dark coat and black gloves. His face stayed mostly in the shadows, but I could see one thing clearly. He was smiling. "Good," he said calmly. "You showed up." Then he stood and reached into his coat. That's when I noticed something that made my chest tighten. He wasn't pulling out money. He was holding a key, a small silver key attached to a plastic tag, 314. And that's when he told me what the job actually was, and why the last person who answered the posting never came back. Part 2. The man tossed the key. I barely caught it. The plastic tag swung from my fingers, the number 314 scratched into the surface like it had been carved with a knife. I looked up at him. "So, what exactly am I doing?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he slowly walked toward the broken ticket counter at the far end of the station. His boots echoed through the empty building. "Across the street," he said calmly, pointing through a cracked window. "You'll see a storage facility." I looked. About 50 yards away sat a row of rusted metal storage lockers surrounded by a chain-link fence. Most of the lights were out. The place looked abandoned. "Locker 314, he continued. "Use the key. Open it. Go inside." "Inside?" I said. He nodded. "There will be a bag." "What kind of bag?" "Black duffel." "And then what?" "Bring it back here." That was it. No explanation, no details. Just open the locker, grab the bag, bring it back. I stared at him. "That's worth $1,000? He smiled again. A slow, thin smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Some people," he said quietly, "prefer not to do this job themselves." That answer didn't help. "Why not?" He tilted his head slightly. "Because of what's inside." A cold feeling crept up my spine. "What's inside the locker?" He shrugged. "You'll see." I should have walked away right then. Every instinct in my body told me something wasn't right. But the key was already in my hand, and I kept thinking about the money. $1,000. That could change everything for us. 5 minutes, the man said, glancing at his watch. "That's all it should take." "And if I just leave?" I asked. He chuckled softly. "Then someone else will do it." The way he said it made it sound like that wouldn't be good for me. I swallowed. "Fine," I said. The man stepped aside and gestured toward the door. "After you." The wind outside had picked up. The chain-link fence around the storage lot rattled as I approached the gate. It wasn't locked. That was the second weird thing. Storage places always lock their gates at night. But this one just hung slightly open. I pushed it. The metal creaked loudly. Rows of storage units stretched into the darkness. Each one had a faded number painted on the door. My flashlight beam moved across them. 290, 291, 292. My footsteps sounded too loud in the empty lot. The wind pushed through the gaps between the buildings, making low whistling sounds. Then I saw it. 314. The door looked different from the others. The metal was scratched. Deep grooves ran across it like something had tried to claw its way out. I stopped walking. My heart was beating faster now. This is stupid, I muttered to myself. Probably just someone storing weird junk. I stepped closer. The lock was already hanging open. I didn't even need the key. I hesitated. Then I grabbed the handle and lifted. The metal door screeched as it rolled upward. Halfway up, the smell hit me. Rotten, wet, like something had been left to decay in the heat. I gagged and covered my nose. What the hell? I lifted the door the rest of the way. My flashlight beam moved into the locker. At first I only saw the bag, a large black duffel sitting in the middle of the concrete floor. Exactly where the man said it would be. I stepped inside slowly. The smell was worse in here, much worse. I shined the light around the walls. They were covered in dark stains, not paint, something thicker. My stomach twisted. Then the bag moved. I froze. My brain told me I imagined it. But then it moved again, a small twitch, like something inside had shifted. My throat went dry. "Hello?" I whispered. The bag suddenly jerked. And then it made a sound, a muffled sound, a voice, a weak, desperate voice. "Help!" My flashlight nearly slipped from my hand. That wasn't a bag of items. That was a person. Someone tied up inside the duffel. They struggled weakly, the zipper rattling. "Please," the voice whispered. Panic slammed into me. I rushed forward and dropped to my knees. "Hold on," I said. My hands shook as I grabbed the zipper. I pulled it open. The moment the bag opened, the person inside gasped for air. It was a girl, maybe 15. Her wrists were tied, tape covered her mouth. Her eyes were wide with terror. I ripped the tape off. "Please," she said, barely able to breathe. "You have to get me out of here." My brain spun. "Who did this to you?" Her answer made my blood run cold. "The man who hired you." My stomach dropped. And right then, I heard something behind me. A metal door sliding shut. Slowly, I turned my flashlight toward the entrance of the locker and saw a shadow move across the ground. The man from the bus station was standing outside, and he was pulling the door closed, locking us inside. Part 3. The metal door slammed shut. Darkness swallowed the locker. For a second, the only sound was the girl gasping for air and the echo of the door rattling into place. Then I heard the click. A lock from the outside. My heart started pounding. "Hey!" I shouted, jumping up and running to the door. I grabbed the handle and yanked upward. It didn't move. "Hey!" I yelled again. Outside, I heard the man's calm voice. "You opened the bag," he said. I slammed my fist against the metal. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I shouted. The girl behind me started crying quietly. "You said to bring it back." The man chuckled softly. "No," he said. "I said there would be a bag." My stomach dropped. "What do you want?" I asked. There was a pause. Then he answered in the same relaxed tone. I wanted to see what kind of person would respond. Cold fear crept through my chest. "What?" "You see," he continued, "the last person who answered the posting didn't open the bag." I felt the blood drain from my face. "He just carried it back," the man said. "Didn't ask questions, didn't look inside." The girl looked up at me with wide eyes. "What happened to him?" she whispered. The man answered for me. "He got paid." My hand started shaking. "So what happens now?" I asked. Another pause. Then I heard footsteps outside the locker. Slow, unhurried. "You failed the test," the man said. The words hit like a punch to the chest. "Test?" "Yes," he said. "I needed someone who could follow instructions." The girl started shaking her head. No, please." "You weren't supposed to open the bag," the man continued. "You were supposed to deliver it." My brain finally caught up with what he meant. Deliver it. Not rescue her. Move her. Transport her. I felt sick. "You're insane," I said. Outside, the man laughed quietly. "Perhaps." Then I heard something else. More footsteps. Multiple people. My flashlight beam shook as I looked at the girl. "How long were you in here?" I asked quickly. "I don't know," she said, crying. "They grabbed me yesterday." Yesterday. Which meant she was supposed to be delivered tonight. I looked around the locker. Concrete walls, no windows, just the metal door, and footsteps getting closer outside. The girl grabbed my arm. "Please don't let them take me again." My brain raced. There had to be a way out. Then I remembered something. The storage facility. These places sometimes had back access, emergency exits, thin metal walls between units. I swung the flashlight toward the back wall. The metal panels separating the lockers were old, rusty. One of them had a dent. I rushed over and kicked it. The panel shook. "Help me," I told her. She stumbled over and pushed while I kicked again. The metal groaned. Outside, voices were getting closer now. "Check that one," someone said. My heart nearly stopped. I kicked the panel again. It bent inward. One more kick. The metal ripped open just enough to crawl through. "Go," I whispered. The girl scrambled through the hole into the next locker. I climbed through after her. Behind us, the door to 314 slammed open. Flashlight beams flooded the empty locker we'd just escaped. "Where the hell did they go?" a voice shouted. We crouched silently in the darkness of the next unit. My heart felt like it was about to explode. The girl gripped my arm so tight it hurt. "Stay quiet," I whispered. Voices searched the next row over. "Check the back. We're losing them." The storage lot was big, rows and rows of units. If we moved fast, we might actually make it. I quietly lifted the back door of the locker we were hiding in. It creaked slightly. We froze. No reaction. I lifted it higher. Cold night air rushed inside. "Run," I whispered. We bolted out the back of the unit and into the darkness behind the storage buildings. The fence back there had a hole, probably cut years ago. We crawled through it and sprinted into the trees behind the lot. Branches snapped under our feet. We didn't stop running until the lights of the town appeared ahead. Only then did we collapse on the side of the road, both of us shaking. 20 minutes later, a car stopped. An older couple. They called the police. I told them everything. The bus station, the man, locker 314, the posting. But when police searched the storage lot later that night, everything was gone. The locker was empty, no stains, no bag, no people, just rows of silent metal units. The bus station was empty too. No sign anyone had been there. The Reddit post had also disappeared. The account didn't exist anymore. Neither did the email. Like it had never happened. Except for one thing. A few weeks later, I was scrolling Reddit again, trying to forget the whole thing. That's when I saw it. A new post, same forum, same format. 3 sentences. Night work, cash paid. Immediately need someone reliable. Work must be done tonight. $1,000 cash, different email, different location. But the attached photo was unmistakable. A metal storage locker door with a number spray painted on it. 315. Part 1. By 2021, I had just over 6 million followers across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. My whole brand was stupid prank videos, fake parking tickets, jump scares in grocery stores, pretending to be a mall cop. It was dumb, harmless content. And during the pandemic, people needed to laugh. But being an influencer also meant something else. People told you things. A lot of things. Every day my inbox filled with thousands of DMs. Most were memes or prank ideas. Some were hate messages. But one message in July 2021 stood out. It came from a girl named Alyssa. Her message was short. I think my friend was taken. I saw the guy recruiting girls online. Please read this. She attached screenshots. At first, it looked like a modeling job. Influencer brand ambassador. Paid travel opportunities. Private parties for wealthy clients. The pay listed was insane. $5,000 weekends. All expenses paid. But the details were weird. They only recruited girls 18 to 22. They wanted them to travel immediately. And the contact method wasn't a normal email. It was Telegram. I kept reading. Alyssa explained that her friend Kayla answered the ad 2 weeks earlier. After that, she basically vanished. Her phone went dead. Her Instagram stopped posting. Her last message to Alyssa was just one line. Something feels wrong here. That was it. Then Alyssa sent one more screenshot. This one made my stomach turn. It was a Telegram message from the recruiter. We always need new girls. If you know anyone interested, send them. That was when the idea hit me. I wasn't just some kid making prank videos anymore. I had 6 million people watching me. People who could find things, track things, expose things. So I opened my private Discord server. About 40,000 of my most loyal fans were in there. I posted the screenshots. Within 10 minutes, the server exploded. People started digging. One person tracked the Telegram username to an old Twitter account. Another found a company name listed in the ad. a third person found something even bigger. The recruiter had posted the same ad in dozens of forums, and they were operating out of Las Vegas. My heart started racing. Vegas was only 4 hours from me. Then someone in the Discord asked the question that changed everything. Why don't you apply? The chat instantly flooded. Do it. Expose them. Film everything. And the craziest part? I realized it might actually work. Influencers get invited to sketchy VIP events all the time. Rich parties, private clubs, all kinds of weird stuff. If anyone could get inside their operation, it was someone with millions of followers. So I created a new Telegram account, typed a message, and hit send. Saw your listing. I run influencer events in California. I can bring girls. The reply came almost immediately. 3 words. Let's talk business. And that's when my followers and I realized something. We weren't just investigating anymore. We were about to walk straight into their operation. Part 2. The reply came 10 minutes after I sent the message. A new Telegram notification popped up. Unknown. Contact. How many girls can you provide? My stomach tightened. Even though this was part of the plan, typing the next message felt wrong. But thousands of people in my Discord were watching the screen live. I was sharing everything, every message, every update. My followers had turned into a full investigation team. I typed back carefully. Depends on the event, usually 5 to 10 influencers. 3 dots appeared immediately. They were typing. We host private parties for wealthy clients. Girls must be young, attractive, and discreet. Travel provided. My Discord chat exploded. People were screenshotting everything. One follower started tracing the phone number linked to the Telegram account. Another was pulling business registrations connected to the company name. Then the recruiter sent something that made my heart race. An address. Las Vegas, and a time. Interview tomorrow, 7 p.m. Then another message appeared. Bring 1 girl for evaluation. My chat went wild. No way. This is real. Call the FBI. But we didn't have enough yet. Just messages, no proof. If we reported it now, they'd disappear. That's how these groups work. They move constantly, delete everything, start over somewhere else. We needed evidence, so we made a plan. One of my closest friends, Jess, volunteered to help. She had appeared in tons of my prank videos. She also had 800,000 followers herself. But more importantly, she was fearless. I'll go with you, she said on our Discord call. Let's burn these guys. Meanwhile, my followers were doing insane work. One guy traced the Vegas address to a luxury condo tower near the Strip. Another found that the company was registered just 3 months earlier. Fake name, fake office. Everything about it screamed front operation. Then something even crazier happened. A fan who worked in cybersecurity managed to pull a deleted listing tied to the same recruiter. It had been posted on a modeling forum 2 years earlier. And there were comments underneath. Girls saying they went to the events. Girls saying they were pressured to stay. Girls saying they couldn't leave. One comment was just 3 words. Don't trust them. By that point, the Discord server had over 20,000 people watching live. People were mapping everything. Screenshots, names, connections. My followers had basically built an entire investigation team overnight. The next day, Jess and I drove to Las Vegas. The whole 4-hour drive, I kept thinking the same thing. What if we were in over our heads? What if these people were dangerous? But when we pulled into Vegas that evening, my phone buzzed again. Another telegram message. Penthouse level. Room 2704. Jess looked at me. You ready? I checked my phone one more time. The Discord chat was flying. Tens of thousands of people watching. Someone had even contacted a reporter who was now following the thread. We weren't alone. Yeah, I said. Then we walked into the building. And that's when we realized something terrifying. There were 3 security guards waiting for us in the lobby, and one of them was already looking straight at my face, like he knew exactly who I was. Part 3. The moment we walked into the lobby, one of the security guards stepped forward. He was huge, easily 6'5", and he was staring directly at me. My brain instantly jumped to the worst thought. They know who I am. 6 million followers suddenly felt like a terrible disadvantage. If they recognized me, the whole plan was dead. Jess squeezed my arm slightly. Just act normal, she whispered. The guard spoke. You here for the interview? I forced a calm smile. Yeah, penthouse meeting. He looked us up and down for a long second, then nodded. Elevators to the right. My lungs finally started working again. Jess and I stepped into the elevator. The doors closed. Only then did we both exhale. Oh my God, she whispered. I pulled out my phone. The Discord stream was still running. Tens of thousands of people were watching live updates. Someone had already typed, "The building matches the address." Another message popped up. Reporter is contacting Vegas police right now. My heart started pounding harder. If this worked, we might actually shut these guys down. The elevator dinged. 27th floor. The hallway was quiet. Soft lights, thick carpet, luxury condos. We walked down until we saw it. 2704. Jess glanced at me. Hidden camera on? I tapped the small button clipped inside my jacket. Rolling? She knocked. 3 seconds later, the door opened. A man in a suit stood there. Mid-40s, perfect hair, expensive watch. He smiled politely. You must be the influencer. My stomach twisted hearing that word. But he stepped aside and let us in. Inside the penthouse were 5 men sitting around a large glass table, and 2 young girls sitting silently on the couch. Both looked terrified. My chest tightened. This was real. Not rumors, not screenshots, an actual operation. The man in the suit closed the door behind us. Let's discuss business, he said. Jess sat beside me at the table. One of the men leaned forward. How many girls can you supply for events? I answered carefully. Depends on the pay. He smiled. We pay very well. Then he slid a contract across the table. Jess looked at it, then back at me. That was the signal. I stood up, took a breath, and said the line we planned the entire drive. You're actually live to about 20,000 people right now. The room went silent. One of the men laughed. Nice joke. I pulled my phone out and turned the screen toward them. The Discord chat was flying, messages pouring in. Calling police, streaming this, reporters watching, the smiles vanished instantly. The man in the suit lunged toward my phone, but before he could reach me, sirens exploded outside the building. Red and blue lights flashed through the windows. Someone in the hallway shouted, "Las Vegas police!" Chaos erupted. Two of the men bolted toward the back rooms. Another tried to grab Jess's camera, but the door burst open. Police flooded the penthouse. "Everyone on the ground!" Within seconds, the entire room was chaos. Men yelling, cuffs clicking, officers separating the girls from the suspects. Jess looked at me, shaking. Holy hell. I glanced at my phone. The Discord chat was exploding, thousands of messages per second. But one message kept repeating over and over. We did it. Later that night, police confirmed something that made the entire thing hit harder. The operation we exposed had been running for years, recruiting girls online, moving them between cities. And the tip that started it all? The girl Alyssa messaged me about. Kayla. Police found her, alive. And because millions of people watched the story unfold, the entire ring collapsed within days. Sometimes prank channels make stupid videos. But that night, 6 million followers helped stop something real. Part 1. In 2020, everything changed in one night. My girlfriend Lena and I were sitting on the floor of our tiny apartment in Phoenix, eating instant noodles, when she said the words that made my heart stop. "I'm pregnant." For a moment, neither of us spoke. We were 22, both working part-time, barely making rent. But when she looked up at me, she wasn't scared. She was smiling. And somehow that made it real. "We'll figure it out," I told her. At first, we tried doing things the normal way. More hours at work, selling stuff online, food delivery apps. But during the pandemic, everything slowed down. Bills stacked up, doctor visits weren't cheap, and every time Lena put her hand on her stomach, I felt the pressure getting heavier. One night, while scrolling forums online, I found something strange. A thread about anonymous remote jobs, crypto payments, fast work, no questions asked. At first, it sounded like typical internet nonsense. But the more I read, the more real it looked. People talked about doing tasks, simple digital stuff, moving files, testing websites, delivering encrypted messages. The pay was insane. Sometimes $500 for a single task. That night, I showed Lena. She looked nervous. "What kind of jobs are these?" "I don't know," I admitted. "But we could try one." We made a rule right away. Nothing violent, nothing illegal that could hurt anyone. Just online work, one job. That's it. The first task was simple. Forward a package. That was it. A small box arrived 2 days later. No return address. I mailed it to another address like the instructions said. 3 hours later, my crypto wallet pinged. $1,000. Lena stared at the screen. Did we just make $1,000? I nodded slowly. That was the moment everything changed. Because once you see how easy the money is, it's hard to stop. And over the next 3 months, we didn't. Not until we realized something terrifying. We weren't just doing random online jobs anymore. We were working for someone. And whoever they were, They weren't letting people quit. Part 2. By the time Lena was 5 months pregnant, we had already made almost $40,000. More money than either of us had ever seen. At first, the job stayed simple. Forward packages, create accounts, test websites. Every task paid in Bitcoin within hours. But slowly, the job started changing. One night, a message came through the encrypted chat we used with our client. New task available, $8,000. I opened the instructions. My stomach tightened immediately. They wanted me to drive across town and leave a backpack in a locker at a train station. That was it. No explanation, just a location and a time. When I showed Lena, she shook her head. That's sketchy. I know, I said, but 8,000? We needed the money. Hospital bills were coming. Baby stuff wasn't cheap. So I did it. I drove to the station at 2 a.m., placed the backpack in the locker like the instructions said, and left. 3 hours later, the payment hit. $8,000. That's when I started noticing something else. Our client was watching us. Every message came instantly. They knew when tasks were done before I even confirmed them. Once I tested it. After finishing a job, I waited 10 minutes before replying. Their message came first. Payment sent. Good work. That didn't sit right with me. But the real problem came 2 weeks later. Our balance had climbed to $72,000. That night, a new message arrived. This one didn't have a job attached, just a sentence. You are valuable contractors. Then another message appeared. Contractors are expected to remain available. Lena read it over my shoulder. Why would they say that? I didn't answer, because I understood exactly what they meant. We weren't freelancers anymore. We were assets. And assets don't just walk away. 3 days later, we tried ignoring a job request, just to see what would happen. 2 hours later, my phone buzzed. A photo appeared in the encrypted chat. It was taken outside our apartment, our front door. Then another message. Please stay cooperative. Lena's hand started shaking. We have to stop, she whispered, and I agreed. But by that point, we had a bigger problem. We already had $150,000 sitting in crypto. And the people paying us clearly knew exactly where we lived. So if we wanted out, we had to disappear. The photo of our front door changed everything. Lena didn't sleep that night. She just sat on the couch, holding her stomach while we stared at the laptop screen. They know where we live, she whispered. Yeah, I said quietly. The crypto wallet balance still sat there. $151,842. Enough to change our lives. But it suddenly felt like blood money. We couldn't just cash it out normally either. If the people we worked for were watching us, they'd know immediately. We needed to disappear first. Luckily, doing shady online work for months had taught me a few things. The next morning, I transferred the money through multiple wallets, then into smaller pieces, different exchanges, different days, slow, quiet. Meanwhile, Lena packed only what we absolutely needed. Clothes, documents, baby stuff, nothing else. 3 days later, another message arrived from our client. New task ready. I ignored it. 10 minutes later, another message appeared. Please respond. I didn't. Instead, that night we left. No goodbye to anyone, no forwarding address, just 2 backpacks and the cash we'd already withdrawn. We drove all night, across state lines, through empty highways. Neither of us spoke much. Every pair of headlights behind us made my heart jump. But by sunrise, we were hundreds of miles away. New town, new start. Over the next few weeks, we did everything quietly. Closed old accounts, bought a used car in cash, rented a small house under a different last name. And little by little, we converted the rest of the crypto. By the time our daughter was born, the money was clean. $150,000 sitting safely in the bank. Enough for a fresh start. Sometimes late at night, I still think about the messages we stopped answering, about the people behind them, about whether they ever tried looking for us. But the truth is, people like that don't chase contractors forever. They just find new ones. And somewhere out there right now, some desperate person is probably opening a message that promises easy money online. Just like I did. Only this time, they might not get out. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more dark web and scary stories just like this. And if you have an idea for a story you'd like to hear next, leave it down in the comments. I read them all, and some of the best videos come from your suggestions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.